Hello, I'm Martin Lewis from MoneySavingExpert.com. The Prime Minister has just sat down in Parliament after announcing what is called the new energy price guarantee. I wanted to give you a quick video briefing on what it means in practice for your energy bills. So, the first thing to say is this will start on the 1st of October this year and it will last for 2 years. For somebody who has typical use, on the 1st of October you will see your bills rise from the current £1,971 a year to £2,500 a year. In practice though, there is no total cap on what you pay for energy. The cap is actually on the standing charge, the daily charge you pay for gas and electricity, and the unit rates, what you pay for each amount of energy that you are using. So if you use less than the typical amount, you'll pay less. If you use more than the typical amount, you'll pay more. I don't have the new unit charges and standing charges and unit rates yet. As soon as I do, I will publish them. The new lower price cap that's been announced today does also include getting rid of the green levies, something that was promised during the Prime Ministerial campaign. So that's within the lowering it to £2,500. What's important though is in May it was announced that all homes would get a £400 reduction on bills, effectively £66 a month over the winter period, and that is remaining. So it means over the next year it will take an average energy bill payment for someone on typical use down to £2,100. If you want a really rough estimate of what that means for you, then it is an increase of 6.5% once you factor in the new price guarantee and the £400. It's an increase of 6.5% compared to what you're paying right now. So for every £100 you pay right now, you will pay £106.50 in future. It's worth noting, because of the way this works, while the price cap moves with usage, the £400 is flat. So obviously you've got a lower bill, taking £400 off it has a bigger impact. So for those who have bills that are lower than the typical usage, then your percentage increase will be lower than 6.5%. For those that have bills that are higher than the typical usage, your percentage increase will be higher than 6.5%. So how does this all compare to what would have happened if this plan had not been announced? Well, certainly favourably. So let's just remember the numbers again. Currently £1,971 going up to £2,500 or arguably £2,100. Well, the current plan was for somebody on typical use, in October it was going to rise 80% to £3,549 a year. And then in January, the prediction was it was going to go up another 50% to £5,400 a year. So a freeze at £2,500 is substantially cheaper than what you would have paid. However, if we, instead of looking at what you would have paid, contrast it to what the rates were last winter, then the price cap for somebody on typical use was £1,277 a year. So this is substantially more than people were paying last winter. One of the big questions I've had here is I'm fixed, about up to 15% of you are on fixed tariffs. What happens if I'm fixed? Well, I've been lobbying on that both publicly and behind the scenes. I got a direct answer on it this morning from the Secretary of State for Business, and I've written it down so it's accurate, and I'll just read it out if you forgive me not looking at you for a second. Those on fixes can either stay on them or, assuming if it's more expensive, they can leave and switch to the new subsidised tariffs with no early exit penalties. That's if you're switching to your own existing company's standard variable tariff. You will not be charged early exit penalties if you are leaving a fix. Next question, what about those other payments that were promised? The £650 for people who were on benefits, certain benefits anyway, £150 for disabilities, £300 for pensioners. All of those were announced in May. All of those will continue this year. There is no announcement on those or the £400 payment for next year. So if the £400 payment isn't given, then £2,500 will be the real price for next year for someone on typical use. Sorry for having to do it on typical use. That's the only details I've got. When I've got more info on the standing charge and unit rights, I'll do it that way. So arguably we could see prices effectively rising next year if no £400 is given. I suspect though, For people on benefits, it would be politically very difficult for them not to give that £650 payment again next year, and pensioners and disabilities too, because if they don't, I mean, it's just cripplingly unaffordable for those on universal credits and on other legacy benefits. VAT is not being reduced in this announcement, but I think there is a chance that may happen, about 50-50 I'd say, in the Chancellor's fiscal statement. That's what it's called, basically the Chancellor's semi-budget that they won't call a budget next week. Next one, delighted to hear, I've given evidence on this many times, it's disgraceful that LPG and heating oil for those in rural areas is not regulated. Well, I am being told there will be discretionary payments to help people who have their heating provided that way too. I'm awaiting details. I've also been told that this will be applied to people in Northern Ireland, that there will be help for those in Northern Ireland. And finally, for those in park homes, or those who pay their landlords directly, or those on controlled heating environments where the bill's all in one, I'm being told the help there will be provided through the business help that is being given over the next 6 months. That's a rough summary. I've not dotted every I and crossed every T. There'll be more details on moneysavingexpert.com, and as I learn more, I'll be putting it out on social media. But I hope that's been useful.